Yes, yes, we've done it. We've created the perfect GMO. Now to spread this throughout the world. Wait, what's a GMO again? That's right. Today we're going to be talking about the tricky topic of GMOs. Okay, for starters, what the heck is a GMO? No, Glovey, it does not mean giant monkey oranges. Where'd you get that from? GMO actually stands for Genetically Modified Organism. Ooh.
Great, 3 more words I don't understand. That doesn't help me much.
You have a good point. So how about we try to break this down into something that we can understand? I think it'll make the most sense to start from our O and work our way backwards. Shall we? Now the O stands for organism, which is just a sciencey word for any living thing. That's right, and that's your word of the day. An organism is just a general word for any living thing, from the smallest bacteria, to the biggest whale, and every creepy crawly in between. From Turley the Turtle to even you and me, anything that's alive is considered an organism. Next we have the M, which stands for modified. Now modified just means to be changed or to change something. So when we put these two together, we have any living thing that's been changed. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I'm alive and I've changed, right? I mean, once upon a time, I used to be an adorable little baby with really long hair. Aww. And now I'm an adorable grown Kenan who has short hair. But this change is a little bit different. And that's where our G comes in, for genetically. Now what genetically tells us is that we're dealing with genes. And no, I'm not talking about these bad boys that make my backside look so good. Nope. The genes that we're talking about here are small parts of our DNA that carry the instructions that make us into who we are. Did you know that humans have about 23,000 genes in our DNA? These are responsible for everything from eye color to allergies. Achoo! But we'll talk more about the awesome world of DNA and genes in another episode. Right now it's just important to know 3 things. For starters, genes are part of your DNA. Number 2, genes are the instructions to make proteins. And 3, these proteins are important because they make us who we are. Everything from our eye color to our hair texture to whether or not we can digest milk. Alright, so one more time. Genes are part of our DNA that make proteins that turn us into who we are. Got it? OMG. Now that we've broken it down, let's see if we can stick our pieces back together to make a definition that we can understand. Okay, so a GMO is any living thing that's had a change to one or more of its genes. And don't forget, a gene is part of DNA that makes a protein that an organism uses. Now we're going to modify our definition just a little bit to fit the description that most people know GMOs as. So we'll make our official definition of a GMO any living thing that's had one or more of its genes changed on purpose by humans. That's us. So with this definition, we can actually break GMOs down into 2 categories. This first group we'll call traditional GMOs, or hybrids. These are made by crossbreeding or mating different organisms from the same species. This group of GMOs has been around for thousands of years and includes just about any domesticated thing that you can think of, from fruits and vegetables to cows and even man's best friend. That's right, dogs are one of the best examples of traditional GMOs. Humans have been breeding dogs for thousands of years, slowly changing them into the over 160 breeds that we have today. The second group of GMOs we'll call genetically engineered organisms, or Transgenics. This is more or less the group that has everyone up in a hissy fit in the media. Transgenics literally means different genes. In this group, a gene from one organism is taken out and added to a different species. Now some people are afraid that by doing this, we're going to create some sort of monsters, like that lizard guy from The Amazing Spider-Man. Like this is going to happen. Ah! science. Not likely. But some others are afraid of GMOs causing cancers in some fruits or vegetables. No! Why would you give me cancer? In reality, I think these people are just scared because they don't have the sharp scientific minds like you and me. Anything that comes from a lab has to go through years of testing, research, and jump through many, many regulations just to prove that it's safe for human use. In fact, research has shown that these transgenic crops have the potential to help millions of people around the world. One of my favorite examples of this is this thing called golden rice. Now, it's your standard everyday rice, but it has 2 extra genes added to it. One from a daffodil and the other from a bacterium. These 2 genes allow the rice to produce vitamin A, which is a huge deal. Now, we may get enough vitamin A in our American diets, but in other underfed parts of the world, more than 500,000 children under the age of 5 die every year from vitamin A deficiency. Now imagine one transgenic crop that could nearly eliminate this statistic. Now by now, it may be obvious to some of you that I'm in support of GM research. But it's not just because I'm a scientist and I'm like, hey, we all gotta stick together. Lord knows we have some bad scientists. Talking about you, Glovey. Nope. I support GM research because the vast majority of evidence that's out there is in support of it, and that is what science is really about. Science isn't about wishes, wants, and feelings, because trust me, I wish that my experiments would do exactly what I told them to do every time, but they don't. Instead, science is about repeatable, evidence-based support. Well, that and having fun, of course. That's why I'll leave you with this one last thing to look up on your own. Hop on the old YouTube machine and check out glowing animals. Scientists have taken fluorescent gene from jellyfish and played around by putting it into other animals. Check it out. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Science with Kenan. Hope you enjoyed it, and if not, hopefully you at least learned something. Tune in next week to join me live in San Diego as we talk about my specialty, mosquito viruses. Bzz. And until then, stay classy, Snapchat.